What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Thursday. Man, this week's going by fast. I don't know about you, Easton, but it's already
Time
Thursday.
flies when you're not here, Austin.
I know. We're going to have a good show today talking about the Titans and how they can go 2-0 in the last 2 weeks after going 0-4 in the first 4 weeks. So we're going to talk about back-to-back, two things the Titans showed versus the Cardinals that they have to bank on in order to beat the Raiders. And so we're going to walk through all this, and we might do a little time capsule talk here off the top too of like, what were you doing the last time the Titans won back-to-back games? Because I was listening to Buck's primetime show last night for a bit, and it sent me down memory lane. And man, that was a doozy because it's almost 3 full years, almost 36 months. It'll be 35 months if they can do it. If they do pull it off, they still have to win. I guarantee. But we're going to talk about the two things the Titans need to try to replicate. And then what would a 2-4 record mean for this team compared to a 1-5 record if they can beat the Raiders with a Raiders football team that is struggling? Geno Smith is a turnover machine. They've got some good defensive pieces, but a very gettable defense. Just look at what the Colts did against the Raiders last week. So, Easton, we've also got trivia. We failed at trivia yesterday. We missed the what was it? The Major League Baseball question was like a Arizona Diamondbacks 2000 team, and so
I mean that's one of those where it's like JT's either got it or we're cooked.
No, I named at least a player from the Diamondbacks 2000 roster.
Well, that's one more player than I would have named. That's for sure.
But infielder, because I could name pitchers, right? I think Randy Johnson was a Diamondback at that point.
Sure.
So let's get this thing off and rolling here, Easton, and let's let it fly.
Yeah, let's let it fly. Hello, Austin. Welcome back. Good to have you back. Good to be on the show with you this morning. Good to be with everybody in the comments. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Thursday. Excited to dive into this show because we're going to talk all about what it would mean for the Titans if they won this game. We're not saying that the Titans look like some juggernaut that's going to start ripping off wins based on their last win, but we are saying that if there were ever a time to get back-to-back wins against this Raiders team, this would be it. This is your shot. So best of luck, and hopefully they give us something entertaining to talk about this weekend, but we'll talk about all the scenarios, and we'll dive into, I think, the things that are sustainable from this past week's win, that if they do manage to sustain these things, that might explain why they become more competitive this year than we had expected them to in the last month of dreariness. I'll explain what that means a little bit later on. Excited to talk about all of it with you, Austin. First, we need you to like the show on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit that like button for us. It's free. It is simple. Click the thumbs up right below our faces on your screen, and then jump into the comments with Duran and Rooney, Corey, Steven, Daniel, Anthony, Charles, Scott. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Thursday. We appreciate you guys jumping in on the show and then being a part of the conversation. We got a couple questions that I'm looking forward to hearing your answers about, and you got to jump in the comments to be able to do that. So like the show, subscribe if you're on YouTube, jump in the comments, and Austin, let's get it started.
So officially welcoming the A to Z Sports Show live on a Thursday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, our Titans reporter for A to Z Sports.com. We are Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content, and leave us a 5-star Google review. That helps us out quite a bit as a company. We do have to thank our sponsors because they also help us out a lot as a company, and they also help you out as well. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. We have Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs, local and online at bartondrury.com. Botero Carts, life is short, buy a golf cart, 2 locations for you, Columbia and Gallatin. And in Window Nation, buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows for free with no payments necessary for 2 years at windownation.com. So, man, a lot of you guys,
Andre is
go directly to that.
Tired of me, Andre.
Oh my God, it's like you're doing your job, and Andre's like, Andre, I'm going to show up to your job and be like, why are you here?
This guy's here again.
Again?
Andre's going to be devastated when I have
again.
Andre's going to be devastated when I have an actual daily show one day that probably will be in the not too distant future. You know, that's the career trajectory here, Andre, right? Like people in sports broadcasting, eventually they talk to you every single day. So enjoy your breaks from me now while you got them, buddy.
I mean, good Lord. And then Alonzo saying, still need to fire Callahan. And look, nobody's like, I don't think I had not heard anybody on our platform saying that the 22-21 win over the Arizona Cardinals saved Brian Callahan.
Never mind. Keep him around.
Yeah, it's good. Man, it was not fluky at all. That was totally sustainable. They can just repeat that script against the Raiders. So
when Andre and Big Ten Jeff are your biggest haters in the comments, you know you're doing something right. I'm just gonna put that out there.
At least Andre had like the laughing emojis with some slight sarcasm there. Now, if we do feel the need to pivot and create a new topic, Charles had a comment that we can do that, but I favored it for later,
all right,
just in case we want to go ahead and get to that. But no, we're going to talk about the two things the Titans showed against the Cardinals that they need to bank on if they're going to beat the Raiders. We're going to get through that here in a little bit, but there is a very long laundry list of injuries the Titans had for a Wednesday practice. Right. So that's what I was going to ask you. Like, go through the injury list and say like real or just like, you know, taking an off day. Like even some of them were labeled as off days, as rest days, and some of them were not labeled as rest days that might be rest days.
Yeah, a bunch of them were rest days. So here's the whole list. Here are the guys that were limited that actually did do some things. JC Latham with the hip is limited. That's not bad news. That's good news. First time back, right? We love that. Bryce Oliver, a knee, limited. Also, progress, first time back. Love that. He was jazzed to be back, by the way. Heard Paul Kaharski's video with him in the locker room yesterday. He seems excited to be back, and we don't know exactly when he'll be back, but the way he talked made it sound like maybe this is the week. Tyjae Spears, ankle, limited. Not surprised that he's continuing to be limited on the ankle that he had surgery on. So that's not bad news either. And then Kevin Winston Jr., hamstring, limited. I mean, it's eventually he's going to have to not be limited on the hamstring, but it makes sense that they're still very, very, very cautious and taking the long play with him. So I don't think that he's somebody that, like, we'll see if he's limited the rest of the week. Let's put it that way. Here are all the guys that just straight up did not practice. Blake Hance, shoulder injury. Not super concerned. Marcus Harris, calf injury. Not super concerned. Van Jefferson, ankle injury. Maybe concerning. I don't know. Arden Key, quad injury. Maybe concerning. I don't know. Tyler Lockett was rest. Tony Pollard was rest. Jarius Sneed was rest. So none of those guys are a problem. James Lynch with a shoulder. Not super concerned about that. Jeffrey Simmons with an ankle. Not concerned about that. Saw him yesterday walking around. So Dr. Easton's eyes weren't concerned about that one. Joey Sly with a right calf.
If you parlay that with the addition of Michael Wright to the practice squad as a kicker, now there's something.
Let's hold the thought on that one. Yep. That's the most concerning thing I've said so far.
The Southern reporter for the game against the Cardinals was talking about what Joey Sly was doing, approaching as he was watching Cam Ward take knees, set up the game-winning field goal. He was using the what's it called, the gun, the thermogun thing, Theragun. There you go, on his right calf, and here we are.
Yeah, so monitor that one. That's the most concerning thing that I've said so far. And then that's it. Then there was James Williams, who is back full with a wrist injury that's no longer an injury, I suppose. So,
yeah. So
it's basically just the kicker that I'm really actually concerned about on this list.
So, is that concerning or not? Jack says, guys, Joey Sly being injured is the best thing for this team. I don't know about that. That's a like, this guy was like the only way you could get points just a few weeks ago. And he missed, the graphics showing, Joey Sly's missed 5 kicks in 3 weeks. Yeah. Well, when 2 of them are from 65 yards, who cares? The
graphic should really say he's had 3 really bad misses in 2 weeks. That part is concerning, right? Because he's had 3 makes as well. Because he had 2 in this past game and none. So he's 2 of 5 in the last 2 weeks, and all 3 misses have been
including a missed extra point. So
okay, fair enough.
So he made a couple extra points there too.
Fair enough. But you get my point. That's concerning. I also saw this yesterday, Austin. Everybody's like, I'm not crazy about Joey Sly right now, but Matthew Wright, that guy stinks. Don't replace Joey with that guy. And I'm not saying that they should replace Joey with that guy, for the record. He's on the practice squad. Matthew Wright is. But do people remember Matthew Wright kicked for this team last year? You remember
I
that, right?
did. I briefly, yeah, when Nick
Yeah, and
Folk was hurt for a couple of weeks.
and he went 4 for 4. Like, he didn't.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that everybody's like, oh, Matthew Wright, this guy blows. He didn't miss a kick for you last year.
Yeah, but
So-
nobody remembers. So
I know. Everybody has this preconceived notion that the guy stinks. I'm not saying that he's God's gift to kicking, but he
Yeah.
didn't cost you anything last year.
for sure.
So if he has to play for Joey Sly this week, which is still very early to say whether that's going to happen or not, I wouldn't be planning on kicking anything from, 55 plus like you do with Joey. That's for sure.
And that Jack follows us up. Says it's not about Sly. It's about the fact that Callahan will send him out there from anywhere. Callahan needs a short distance kicker because look, I don't think that's completely off basis. I think it's a fair opinion to have that Brian, and I'd said this even, I don't know, after week 2, that Brian Callahan is too in love at the moment with the long ball right now, which, chicks do that too. Right. But Brian Callahan and Joey Sly, oh yeah, let's go kick it from long because we can. So let's call things for that because I want to see it.
Yeah.
It's not an unfair thing to say.
Fair enough. Enough kicker talk this morning.
Yes, enough kicker talk. So let's hear from Brian Callahan about handling success or not handling success. Because the last time the Titans won a game, they won on the road. They went on the road again after that, and they got absolutely shellacked. Now they play the Raiders after a win on the road too. So here's Brian Callahan talking about the last time they won and then how they did not follow it up to try to win back-to-back.
You guys went to Washington, didn't go very well. Do you learn anything from that experience in terms of getting the team back this week?
Yeah, I'll go back and look at my notes and make sure I'm not doing any of the things that I did the last time. I don't think it was anything really dramatically different, to be honest with you. It was, I think we that game was a product of some early turnovers that broke it open pretty quickly. But we got to be ready to go play again. And I think my point to you guys after the game is the same as it was to the team today, that it's one game. And we're trying to win more games and stack wins and stack the process. And that's our focus. And it feels great to win, but we also aren't. I'm not satisfied with all of it, and they shouldn't be either because we got to play better. Earlier in the game, there's the good teams. If you give them a 21-6 lead in most games in this league, you're going to have a hard time coming back. And thankfully, we found a way to do it. But that's not the way we want to live, nor is it sustainable. And we got to find a way to play better earlier. And I think that's the key. And having the same mentality about how we feel after a loss when you're correcting the tape and making sure you're correcting what needs to get corrected.
Well, Brian Callahan there sounds like the fans. It's not sustainable. It's one win. Vanessa says, I'm stoked the Titans won, but one win isn't the playoffs. Oh, agree. And I think other Titans content creators should look at that and be like, oh, hey, it's one win that happened. It's a good thing to happen. Everybody needed it. But now it's about the next thing. And you can move on. And I think most people should move on. And I think the good thing about that win is it kind of saved our own brains from just rotting away with an 0-5 start and just getting nothing productive done.
Yes.
But I do think now it's to the next one. Now we can talk about football stuff. We can talk about 2 things they showed that they need to repeat that is sustainable or can be sustainable on this. And so let's go ahead and ask this question here, Easton. What would it mean for the Titans to win back-to-back games to get to 2-4? So what would that mean? And this is an open-ended question that we're going to I'll put it in the chat right now. What would it mean if the Titans are 2-4 after an 0-4 start and then win back-to-back games? Back-to-back wins. The last time I did that was approaching 3 full years. It was in November of 2022. It was home against the Broncos, the NWI 2-touchdown game. And then it was the Todd Downing return flight home from beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Green Bay on a Thursday night where he got a DUI early Friday morning, and the Titans lost 7 in a row to miss the playoff there. So what would it mean if the Titans win 2 in a row and get to a 2-4 record? We'll get to your answers on that and add ours to it. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about Window Nation. WindowNation.com is the website to go for a free estimate. That's what I did about a month ago now, maybe less than that. I just went to the website, My wife and I said, we've been in this house for 2 years. The new windows was on the long-term project list. I'm looking at my window in my office right now. It's a builder grade windows. It's got all the tiny grids on it. We didn't want the tiny grids. We wanted big, wide open windows that looked good and performed well. And that's what Window Nation is going to provide for us. We had the sizing team come out here a couple weeks ago. They've got all the specific sizing on that. They're going to the manufacturer, and we're getting our custom windows made exactly for our home in every room of the house. And they helped us out a ton because they have an incredible deal that's continued. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, and no payments necessary for 2 full years. That's no anything, no nothing, no down payment, no nothing. And they have so many different ways to help you out with financing as well. They got different perks here and there. So many different types of windows. You don't have to go all the way to the top tippy top best window on the market. They have a lot of different great things, but we had builder grade here. And this home is almost 30 years old. These windows do nothing for our AC and heating bill. They're terrorists to our bills. It's that bad. And
Sure.
We're about to see a massive upgrade in our bills once these windows get installed in about a month. So check them out online, windownation.com.
We're also powered by BTA Sports, Better for Betters. They are helping us make money this year. They can help you make money this year if you go to the link in the description of this video below. Sign up using that link to get a 14-day free trial. I promise BTA's machine learning analytics will allow you to be a better. Be a better, win, beat the books. That's what it's all about with BTA Sports.
All right, so what would it mean if the Titans won back-to-back games to get to 2-4? What would that mean? I'll send you to the chat, Easton, because I'm sure there's some creative comments on this one because it's a very open-ended question, and you guys, I've done a lot better with open-ended questions as of late. So what are you seeing from the chat?
Yeah, I want to talk about what the chat has to say, but I'm looking forward to walking down memory lane twice today because in a moment I want to talk about the last time the Titans won a game last year. And then I know that you and I want to talk eventually about the last time the Titans won 2 games, what was going on during that, because I know you got a story. It also just dawned on me during that ad read what I was doing at that time.
Where were you in November 2022?
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be maybe that'll be one of our questions. Where were you in November 2022? See if anybody in the chat has any interesting answers as well. But as to what it would mean for the Titans to win back-to-back games to get to 2-4, Michael says, little hope. Just a little hope. Elks, Big Ton Jeff says, means they beat 2 bad teams, but it's 2 wins. So it's, half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. Glass half full, I suppose. Glass half empty. MB says, I said in the chat that people should have moved on from the Cardinals game 2 days ago onto the Raiders. We haven't heard much about this game. Well, guess what we're talking about today, MB? Nick says building momentum and hopefully making progress. And M Titan, huge confidence booster for a rookie quarterback who's been struggling. I agree with that. Duran, that they're not full ass, they're just half ass. So that's you get to go to just half ass if you win this game, which that's good, I suppose.
Sure. Progress, right?
Right. Confidence and momentum. It means growth, and that this game was not a flash in the pan. I definitely think there's something to Eric's point of proving that the fluky game that we all think was kind of fluky wasn't actually truly 100% a fluke. Let's see. Corey says if he's being honest, it'd be huge. I don't know if that is huge for the team or huge for fan mentality. Probably a little bit of both. But I agree that it would be a big deal for them to get a second consecutive win. Troy says it means the Titans won the season with 3 wins, and this will be the second of them. So he doesn't see a whole lot of wins coming up left on the schedule.
You know what I just thought about? I feel like in this streak of not winning back-to-back games, I think that's more Mike Vrabel coached games than Brian Callahan coached games still.
It
is.
It's like almost it's almost
7. It was 7, so it was 24 Vrabel games.
And we're now on 20 going on 22 Callahan games.
22 completed Callahan games.
Because of going on 23. So yeah.
This is the 23rd Callahan game.
Wild. Jack says, and
I just think it's just a crazy look at what the franchise has been through, right?
Sure. Agreed. A couple more comments, and then we'll walk down memory lane. Cap says it means they found something that worked and need to stick with it. It also means there's something to this whole momentum thing. I agree with finding something that works. Again, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Jack kind of alludes to this. The offensive line making real progress, and Callahan's firing is now directly tied to the performance of his father. Interesting. Okay. So, Austin, before you and I share what this would mean, I want to take us back to last year. The Titans' last win before this most recent win was November 24th, 2024 in Houston.
Yes. Yeah.
It was December 1st, 2024 when they went to face the Washington Commanders. The all too famous Jarvis Brownlee, it's too cold, it's 45 degrees outside game.
Yep.
And I know we all understand. We all remember that this game was ugly. The Titans ultimately lost 42-19. This is when the Commanders were in full buzzsaw mode last year on their way to the NFC Championship game eventually. So, first of all, there's definitely a difference in kind when you compare these situations and the opponent the Titan is facing. The 2024 December Washington Commanders were 7 times better a football team than the early October 2025 Las Vegas Raiders. That being said, do you remember just how ugly this was, Austin, out of the gates?
Yeah, it was like Brian. It was a Tony Pollard fumble. Tony Pollard fumbled the first half. I think it was there a kickoff return fumble?
There were 2 fumbles in the first half.
Jaquan
and those
Jackson,
were even the first things that went wrong.
Yeah, Jaquan Jackson and Tony Pollard both fumbled. Brian Robinson ran for like a bazillion yards in the first quarter, including just like busting through the defense.
Yes. So
anything else? Am I missing anything?
Well, it should have, with like 7 minutes left in the second in the entire first half. So 7 minutes before halftime, it should have been 31-0. The Commanders missed a 48-yard field goal that would have made it 38-0 or 31-0. At that point, they had scored 4 consecutive unanswered touchdowns. The Titans got the ball to start the game. They went 3 and out for -12 yards. 3 plays, -12 yards. What even went wrong here? JC Latham false start. Then a Tony Pollard.
It was a false start on the first play.
Play.
JC Latham false start. Before the game started.
Yep. Makes it 1st and 15. Then a Pollard run for 1 yard. And then on 2nd and 14, a Nicholas Petit-Frere false start. And then a Will Levis.
I remember this now. I was so
And then
mad.
a Will Levis short pass to Tony Pollard for -3 yards. Makes it 3rd and 22. And then a Will Levis pass incomplete short middle to Ridley. Makes it a 3 and out for -12 yards. And then the Commanders get the ball and they also go 3 plays, 59 yards and a touchdown because Brian Robinson broke a 40-yard rushing touchdown on the 3rd play of that drive. Then the Titans get the ball back, 5 plays, 17 yards punt. Commanders get the ball back and they go on a 6.5-minute back-breaking 11-play, 80-yard touchdown drive, which included a number of double-digit yard runs. So the run game continued to churn. Titans get the ball back, now down 14-0. And on 2 plays, they 2 plays, 9 yards and a fumble, 50 seconds off the clock. Chestnut returned to the kick. Here's a fun little wrinkle to it. Chestnut returned the kick successfully. However, penalty, James Williams block in the back 10 yards and forces the Tennessee 25. So a special teams penalty
on James Williams. Shocker.
Yeah. And then a Tony Pollard run for 4 yards and then another Tony Pollard run for 5 yards, but he fumbles and it's recovered by the Commanders at the Tennessee 24. They promptly score a 3rd touchdown, 3 plays, 24 yards on a deep pass to Terry McLaurin. Titans get the ball back for the 4th time of the game in the first quarter alone. And on that kickoff return, Jaquan Jackson fumbles kickoff return, giving the Commanders the ball back again in Titans territory. They score a 4th touchdown, 9 plays, 34 yards. Now it's 28-0, and the second quarter has just begun. Titans get the ball back for a 5th time, 3 plays, 3 yards and a punt. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Titans possessions, they had 3, 8, 10. They had 13 plays for roughly
0 yards,
roughly 20 yards on 5 drives, roughly 20 yards and like 4 minutes of game clock off the clock. And they're down 28-0. The end of the half was, I don't even know if you can say saved, but like,
No, I remember that because I remember the analogy I made for that Will Levis NWI touchdown. It's like when you've played just a shitty round of golf, but you just drill it down the fairway on the 18th tee
yeah,
box. Like,
exactly.
all right, let's go.
The Titans burned their third and final timeout with 28 seconds left in the half, and then Will just corked one down the sideline to NWI for 27 yards.
And Levis didn't play bad. Like other comments in the chat were saying that was a good Levis game. It was a good Levis game. It just the other things just sucked so bad, so fast.
It was a good Levis game because literally the entire game, the Commanders were playing shell coverage. It was set up for the quarterback to look good.
Crazy.
But he did play well. So yeah, I find that fun to go back to that all-time disaster start for a team that had just come off of a very big emotional win in Houston, ruined in the first 12 seconds of the game.
Callahan said, I'm not going to do anything I did last week before or last year before that game. So it was pretty brutal overall. So, all right. So now for us to answer the question, what would it mean to get to 2-4?
Right.
I think, obviously that would be a massively important step. 0-4, you're working through a rookie quarterback. You're working through a new offensive line group. You're with some injuries on there. And then all of a sudden you win 2 games in a row, whether it was luck or fate or what against Arizona. But then you are able to double down on it. It's a big deal. So I think at the very least, confidence through the roof to be able to have proof of concept to make yourself feel good before you come back and have some excitement, some juice in the building before you come back home to host your former head coach who has been 50+% of this streak of not winning back-to-back games. And his team's playing pretty well right now. So, and that's the third most recent team that you've beaten is the Patriots. So and that's kind of my answer to this. Curious to see what you think about back-to-back wins as a possibility.
Yeah, I agree with all the general sentiment of momentum and confidence, and what it would mean most to me. Well, first of all, there's different answers for what it would mean to the fans and what it would mean to the team. For the fans, and actually the answers are similar in the sense that it's about buy-in from both the players and the fans. For the fans, first of all, it would be the first time they've won back-to-back games, so just pure entertainment value would be the first time they weren't depressing in consecutive, or that they were not depressing in consecutive weeks. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But also there's just so many folks who, like, every Saturday and Sunday I'm getting texts like, oh boy, cannot wait to watch my favorite football team play football this weekend. Oh boy, I checked the weather and it's supposed to be a high of 72 today. Should I do anything outside that will bring me joy and happiness and probably fulfillment in my life? Or should I watch this awful football team? That kind of sentiment, that kind of negativity, which is warranted, or had been warranted up until this last weekend, will dissipate, I think, in pretty significant fashion, especially with such a massive narrative game on the horizon afterwards. Because no matter what, whether they win against the Raiders or they get beat by 50, going into Titans Patriots is going to be a big deal for everybody, because we've all been talking about it since March, right? Now, a lot of the talk has been about, I know a number of folks think that Vrabel's just going to beat him like a drum and that he's been game planning explicitly for this game for the past 3 months because he's a vindictive SOB, which is on the board. But I think it's foolish to write off the idea that it's also a massive deal to the Titans from an organizational standpoint. Mm-hmm. I don't know how big a deal it is to Brian Callahan in particular, but to everybody else, it's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Yeah. And they're going to be at home, and it's going to be their first home game in a month. And the last time they were at home, they were booed off the field at one point. So there's a lot of things pushing this team, the Titans team, to kind of empty the tank in that one too, especially if they are at 2-4. And I think getting a win here, in the same way that the Patriots beating the Bills in prime time has I mean, I'm very curious to see the Patriots play this week. They play, oh man, who do they play? I'll find it in a second, but I knew this earlier. Help me out here, Austin. But I'm curious to see them play this weekend, because I think everybody's a little bit hot on the Patriots.
The Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, so
like,
then it'd be 4-2 coming to town.
Right. So the reason I'm curious to see them play in this game is because this on paper probably looks like a game where it's like, well, they should also roll over the Saints and then get to the Titans. And the Patriots fans are probably thinking, oh, we'll get to 4-2 against the Saints. We'll get to 5-2 against the Titans. We're going to the playoffs, baby. Like, well, this is the red carpet.
Already got one on the Bills, right?
The red carpet has been rolled out.
Yeah.
The Saints are better than people are giving them credit for. I mean, the Saints hung with the Bills, which was shocking. The Saints, outside of the Seahawks game where they just got drubbed, have been competitive in every game they played this year, and the quarterback play has been better than you think. And I think the offensive play calling has been pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
They're a sneaky, better than you think bad team. So if the Saints give them trouble, that will be interesting to me. When I went back and watched the Patriots Bills game, I mean, I watched the whole thing live in primetime, but then I also went back and watched some of the breakdown from folks in that market. And it's not that the Patriots are they're actually a terrible team. No. But they're, first of all, they're extremely boring, which I know that's going to shock you. A Mike Vrabel team, boring? Yeah, they're a boring football team. They're also largely buoyed by their quarterback, which if you remember back to the Titans game against this team last year, it was Drake May that was the reason they were in the game at all, right? I mean, Drake May set a career high by a country mile for rushing yards in that game. I think he had like 100 rushing yards or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he eclipsed 100, but it was close.
It was like 9 rushes for around 100 yards. He murdered them on the ground. And then it was that very last play of the game, of regulation, where he held the ball for 9 years.
I actually think it was 11 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it was the longest play I've ever seen in my life. Arden Key completely whiffs on the gimme sack, and then he hits. It was one of his running backs or something. I don't know, somebody in the end zone disaster play. And the Titans ended up winning in overtime, I think, with a field goal. But it was Drake May that held them in that game. I think Drake May is doing a lot of. I mean, Drake May looks awesome so far. He's the one thing that I don't have any question about whether it's fluky on this team or not. Drake May, year 2, looks like the real deal. And I know Patriots fans are thinking like, oh, we got one. We got one again. It only took us a couple years post-Brady to get another one. I kind of think that they did.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of rambling to say. What matters this week for the Titans is building the momentum and the confidence and the narrative juice leading into what we've all been talking about, fair or foul, as the defining game of at least the first half of this Titan season, if not the entire season.
Sure. And you get to extend the season of relevant football, meaningful football, right? Like you just keep your life going, because we all went through last year. There was kind of the moment where, and there's always this, the way the NFL schedules things, the way they've extended the season, the trade deadline, teams are dead later in the year than they used to be. They want you to have with an extra playoff team. It's like you're not right. There's more spots to go for. There's more opportunity. Math says you're still alive, right? So you want to extend that as long as possible. So we just don't have to talk about the draft super quick. So this gets you going another week. And to get like, what if the Titans beat the Raiders and the Saints beat the Patriots? You're talking about the Titans could beat the Patriots, and they're both 3-4.
Right. I also
that would be this team winning 3 games in a row, which that does, bad teams don't do that.
Crazy talk. Yeah, crazy.
But again, here's what that does. Like that's what one win does.
Mm-hmm.
One win against the Cardinals, as improbable and unsustainable and lucky and whatever you want to call it as it is, before a team that has the same 1-4 record that you do to beat the Patriots, it just allows you to start having that snowball, that positive snowball, right? Of, hey, any given Sunday, right? You just saw it happen. What if you do it again against a worse team? That's possible.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm actually going to change my answer. I know we need to get to an ad read, so let's read an ad. But then we got new thoughts on this.
Okay.
This kind of just dawned on me.
And then we're going to go through memory lane and ask everybody what they were doing in November 2022.
That's right.
So we'll do that. But first, tell everybody about Botero Carts.
Botero Carts, Austin. Speaking of what you were doing in life, this is a terrible transition. Life is short. Life is short. Well, what I'm trying to say is it feels like forever ago in life that the Titans won 2 games, but it also feels, it's one of those things where it feels like a million years ago, but also I can remember that time in my life like it was yesterday. this transition blows. Life is short. Life is short. I was trying to make it about life, but
No, yeah.
it didn't work. It didn't work.
No.
Listen, they can't all work. They can't all work. Back to the drawing board. Botero Cart's Life is Short by a golf cart. 2 locations in the Middle Tennessee area to serve you in Columbia and in Gallatin. I'll tell you what, Botero Carts will do a better job servicing you if you need a golf cart than I will do with this transition, because they are open 7 days a week. They are locally owned and operated. We love supporting local businesses. Full service sales and rental dealership. Cart starting at $6,800, 0% financing for 36 months. That's 3 years. That's a long time. Speaking of lengths of time in life. Indoor storage for their carts, no credit needed option, no dealer fee, no credit card fees. There's really no excuse. If you want a golf cart, this is the place you need to go. Go check them out in Columbia or in Gallatin. Botero Carts.
BTA Sports, better for betters. Download the app. You can use 2 ways you can do this to get the great deal. You download the app by clicking the link on the Facebook title or the YouTube description, and then you get a 14-day free trial for a $9.99 weekly pass. So that's 14 days for free before you have to spend $10 on that pass to make yourself a better sports bettor. Normally, it's a 3-day free pass, free trial. For
That's
that
not enough time.
week.
You need more time.
No, now you get 2 full weeks. If you play your cards right, you can probably get 3 football weekends of free trial. I think
This is true. No, you can
right?
do that. Yeah.
You can do that. So on BTA Sports, better for betters, or you can use the code ATOZ14. That's ATOZ14 for the 14-day free trial for a weekly subscription of $9.99 at BTA Sports. So Easton, I'm just going to put in the chat, what were you doing in November of 2022? And Ryan just starts us off there. Says, my son was born November 7th, 2022, which I believe, if I get my days correct, he would have been, let's just see how weird my brain is.
All right.
Easton, I have not looked this up. This is straight off the dome. I believe November 17th was the date they played the Packers on Thursday night, and November 12th was the Sunday they beat the Broncos.
So close.
My one off, my 11 and 16.
It was November 13th and November 17th.
Dang.
Your math is betrayed by the Thursday night of it all because it was a short week. But yeah.
But in Ryan Walker's son's first 10 days of life, all he knew, undefeated Titans.
That's right. So Ryan Walker's life has been all
Ryan Walker's
son's young Walker's life has been all downhill since those first 10 days in terms of the Titans. Sorry to young Walker. Let's keep an eye on the chat for some of those answers. The thing that I wanted to change my answer about what it would mean is twofold. One, I think we're betraying the real meaning here is solidifying the growth. What we saw in the fourth quarter that you and I and JT and Zach and Buck have all this week talked about. Well, yes, a million things had to happen for them to win the game. The win part of it was fluky, but the Titans flipping some sort of switch offensively, but the defense also pretty fantastic outside of that one run. Obviously not very good at all, but they did hold the Cardinals to 0 points for the final 2.5 quarters of the game. The offense, though, is what we were looking to see, something, anything, show us signs of life. And they did on the final 3 drives, regardless of what the Cardinals did to help them out on those drives. They did move the ball. They did score 16 unanswered points to end the game.
Yes.
Something the Titans did. The Cardinals didn't do that for them. The Titans did that. So winning this game would almost certainly, in my mind, solidify that, hey, this team has taken a step forward, because if they win, they must have shown some more of that life that we really had not seen that from the Titans at all. Even in the Broncos game when they were, pretty competitive, even in the Rams game when they were winning the game late in the third quarter, there was not, it was all, I don't want to say all those were fluky as well, but it was so sputtery, right? It was so on and off, inconsistent, felt unsustainable, felt like, a fuse that was going out where you can't quite, at any moment, it's going to fall apart on you. Mm-hmm. It was those final 3 drives, basically the entire fourth quarter in Arizona. For the first time, you felt like every time they got the ball, they'd have a chance to score, because they had just started doing their jobs. They finally started doing their jobs is the best way I can describe it. So if they do their jobs again in Las Vegas, then I will believe that they have turned some sort of corner. That's number one. Number two, in terms of the Patriots game, I mean, it really makes it makes the narrative stakes reasonable to me, Austin. Because if they go into the Patriots game 1-5 after a disappointing loss to a bad Raiders team, we're already when they were 0-0, we were already saying, Callahan's job is dependent on week 7. This Titans season, all it means is whether or not they beat Vrabel, and we had already taken it up to 1 billion out of 10 on the narrative score. And if they go in 1-5 and people are furious at the Titans again and talking about Callahan's job again, and the bye is looming here in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Everyone is going to spend next week talking about, well, if you go 1-6 in a disappointing, embarrassing home loss to Mike Vrabel in Nissan Stadium, just pack it in. The players should give up. Jeff Simmons should ask out. Callahan should be fired before Monday morning. It'll be a disaster. If you go into this game 2-4, it'll still be overdone because it's still Vrabel. But I think the general stakes of a win or loss will be reasonable-ish. Does that seem right to you?
Sure. Yeah. I'd sign it. I will co-sign all that stuff. I mean,
right.
It's a massive, massive point to extend the season. And to have just what I want from this year is because the Titans, there have been 2 years where the Titans have had 2-4 starts and made the playoffs. That's not what this would be. That's not what this would be. One time was in 2019. One time was 2019. They went to the AFC Championship game, right? We all know that one. 2-4 start.
All the Titans need to do is swap Cam Ward out with the backup quarterback, and this season will be off to the races.
Yeah, Brandon Allen to the title game.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what this 2-4 would be, right? Those 2-4s were different. They did one with McNair back in the mid 2000s as well. And so I think I just want as much important, relevant, meaningful football for Cam Ward this year so he can have that real-time experience that matters, right? Like, why was the Commanders game a good Levis game last year? Because they were up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. Not Will Levis's fault. And he was just completing passes versus soft coverage the entire rest of the day, right? So, again, not Will Levis's fault. He did the job, which is his credit. But you don't want those games for Cam all of November and December. You want meaningful football games.
Great
and
point.
I think that's what this would be for. So, all right, let's have some more fun. I've favorited a couple comments on what were you doing in November of 2022? Because that's how long ago it was. 35 months since the Titans have won back-to-back games.
If I bought a Botero cart in November 2022,
you still wouldn't have any interest in it.
My financing would begin next month.
Yes. Let's see. Jack says he was posted up with COVID in November 2022, which is
fun.
We've already been through Ryan's experience. His son was 10 days old when the Titans won that second game, 2-0 in the first 10 days of his life. Tall Texan says November 22, 1 month before my third child was born. Man, life was so much easier with two. Bustin' Diamond says, I was planning my wedding with my now wife. Now we're expecting our first child at the end of this month. So you're going from engaged to married to dad before the Titans. If they don't win against the Raiders, all that stuff happening before the Titans win back-to-back games. Darius brings up thinking Traylon will be at least a decent player after that Packers game and think they make the playoffs, right?
It's a breakout game.
Breakout game. I believe he had 100 yards in that game. And then he actually had a good game against the Bengals the week before in a loss. Traylon did.
Yeah, and he started well against the Eagles the next week until the Eagles killed him in the end zone.
Yeah. Marcus Epps with that hit there. November 22 from Caps. It was a father of a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Now have a 7 and a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So busy, right? Daniel says in November 22, I was in Cappadocia. I knew how to say that. I just couldn't live. in Turkey, staying in a luxury cave hotel and watching 100 hot air balloons flying over the desert at sunrise. Google it, epic.
Wait, that's incredible. That feels like like this the standard laptop backgrounds that like they give you.
Yes,
that's one of those, right?
Yeah, it has to be. Tied Up Ohio. This is kind of cool. November 22, I just bought and built my NFL Blitz arcade cabinet and watched the Titans just beat the Packers on Thursday night. And remember, just can't get better than this. I mean, all of these. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. Hayden, didn't have my first son until nearly a full year after November 22. Now I'm a father of 2. So it's like 3 years. 3 years is a lot of time for life to change, right? And like I know my life has changed a lot. Easton, yours is as well, right? From November of 22 to now. I mean, A to Z Sports was covering like maybe 13 to 14 NFL teams.
Are you almost half of the league at that point?
Not even half the league, I don't think. 3 years ago, and now we've got 50 plus employees, and we're covering the whole league plus 16 college programs, all this stuff. I'm a dad.
Yeah, I'm a dad.
You're a dad. I mean, just some wild. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Side note: I want to go to Cappadocia, Turkey now. Look at this. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an incredible poll there by whoever that was in the comments.
Daniel,
send me your itinerary for that travel. That might be my next vacation. What I was doing in November 2022, I had just gotten married at the very, very end of October. So like early the Chiefs game with Malik Willis in Sunday night. I think it was Sunday Night Football. Yeah, Sunday Night Football was the last loss they had, I think, before they won these back-to-back games, because it was the first weekend of November. Right. And I watched that game on our honeymoon cruise on like the giant like theater screen they had at the back of the boat. And my wife graciously, I was like, I have to watch
your new
this game.
bride. She was your new bride at that time.
She was. And I was like, can I watch this game? And she's like, sure. So I did. And that was cool. And they almost won that game, which was crazy with Malik Willis. Yeah. And then so during this Packers game, I remember we were like putting I had just moved in. We were putting our house together. That's what I was up to. Austin, what were you up to?
Well, I know the day of the Broncos game, the first half of the back-to-back wins, I was at a wedding.
Right. Any further details on that?
They're no longer together.
Oh, this whole conversation feels like there's a lot of talk like in entertainment social media about Stranger Things, because the whole show, like they take a zillion years to come out with the new season, and they've done 5 seasons in like 12 years now. And so there's always these comparisons where it's like, Grey's Anatomy had 9 seasons come out in the span of the show start to finish. It's like, what has happened in the span between season 4 and season 5? How much of our lives could have, I got engaged, married, and I had a child in the time it took the Titans the Titans to win back-to-back games twice, which is, some teams do that in the span of 1 month. Sometimes they win 2 games and then they win 2 games. The Bills did that this year. So tough. And
then how about this? Do you remember this? We'll move on to actual. We still have the 2 things the Titans showed. We have a lot
but this is left. Fun. I like this.
And this is. Do you remember? I doubt you do. What happened on social media during the Thursday night game against the Packers, where the Titans won? There was a
Titans related?
No, it was a massive, massive deal on Twitter during the game.
Man, I'm so just because me, I'm Mr. Twitter fingers. I'm on Twitter too much. So I was then too. I definitely know this. And I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure it's going to hit me.
No, it was not the DUI.
That was
this was a global thing during the game.
All right, remind me what happened.
Elon had just bought Twitter, and that's the day they closed the Twitter offices. And for a moment there, we all thought Twitter was going to be shut down, like shut down.
Right.
That was the day. November 17th. During the game.
Did you remember that, or did you just look that up?
I did. No, I did. I did remember that because I remember and somebody said Luke was still at A to Z. No, Luke was not at A to Z. Sam was. Sam and I were doing the game day show, and we're sitting there going like, "Is Twitter going to shut down like during the halftime show? Like, what's going to happen here?"
Oh, really?
Yes, it was a kind of like a back and forth that we were trying to monitor during that game.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like looking at that. I since Googled
crazy game.
I Googled
crazy
what happened
night.
on this day in history, and yeah, that's the number one thing is the Elon thing.
Yep. All right.
Wow.
Well, now, all right, let's actually get to football stuff.
Yeah.
Two things the Titans showed versus the Cardinals that they got to bank on versus the Raiders. We'll do both of those quickly here. But first, Easton, tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute.
Oh, yeah.
It was still a sponsor for us back in 2022. They've been
Is that
doing this for that long. Yeah.
I was about to say one of our longest running sponsors here on
Yeah.
the show. That long ago, they were still here because the Bone and Joint Institute is an institution in Middle Tennessee, both literally because institute is in their name, but also figuratively in the sense that if you have any kind of orthopedic sports medicine needs, this is your destination to get that handled at boneandjointtn.org. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust. They are located in Franklin, just down I-65, with over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you recover. They can do everything under one roof for your convenience. So clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, rehab, it's all in the same building. Schedule an appointment today. Go to boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine.
BTA Sports, easy. Download the app. Use our link or the code ATOZ14. You get a 14-day free trial for a weekly subscription of just $9.99 to make yourself a better sports bettor. I'm happy to be back in the state of Tennessee where I can legally sports bet after having a weekend off, and I'm fired up for tonight's Eagles-Giants game. I think there are some easy winners tonight. I've not looked at it yet. But I'm going to BTA Sports after the show and try to set the thing up for Thursday Night Football tonight, and then we'll see what the Titans have in store with the Raiders on Sunday. So BTA Sports, download the app today.
Chad, have you ever heard anybody refer to their South American imprisonment as a weekend off? That's pretty crazy downplaying what happened to you in the last week, but it's neither here nor there. You were gone long enough for there to be all kinds of lore about what was happening to you. But
I was on the show Friday.
Yeah,
you saw the beach behind me.
There was lore to that too. You just
that was not a green screen. I moved the computer around.
No, that's not part of the story. There's a story here, but that's between me and the chat. Don't worry about it.
See, you know what I did is I was in. We had a 2-bedroom suite. We got the free upgrade because our room wasn't ready when we got in, which was clutch. So I was in the extra bedroom. I had a suitcase on top of the bed to give myself the great angle out to the beach on that Friday morning.
Right.
So, all right. First thing, the Titans have to bank on to beat the Raiders that they showed versus the Cardinals.
Yes. The two things, from a statistical standpoint, on Sundays in the postgame show, we talk about Lipscomb Sports Analytics. Free shout to one of our sponsors. We take an analytical approach to the game and try to pick something that encapsulates what we saw. And this data wasn't available Sunday evening, but I wish that it was, because this is the most encouraging thing to me in terms of things that can be sustainable for the Titans. The trenches. In this game, the Titans' defensive line pressure rate, 7th best in the league. The Titans' offensive line pressure allowed rate, 2nd best in the league. Top 10 defensive line pressure rate, despite it being Jeffrey Simmons and the Happy Gang. And offensive line, top 2 in the league, despite not having their best tackle in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Is if this is a deeply flawed, often ridiculous football team. You and I don't expect them to, as you pointed out earlier, this is not going to be a 1-4 team that goes to 2-4 and then goes to the playoffs. Right. But if they turn the rest of this season, there's a lot of season left, into a much more competitive season for this team, a much more maybe optimistic, trending, competitive season, scrappy season for this team. Scrappiness is what we're looking for. I think one of the two things that you can directly tie it to is that these trenches, despite us having real problems with the defensive line in particular, and the offensive line needing to get guys in there and healthy, if they can be that version, and the Cardinals, part of it's the opponent, right? The Cardinals didn't put up a great fight in the trenches. They're going to face better trench play than the Cardinals. But they have the horses, especially on the offensive line, to be roughly that. And if they can do that, it's going to set them up to have a good rest of the year.
I would agree. And I think the offensive line, and especially Lloyd Cushenberry, the last 2 years, around this 5th, 6th game is when it started to get gelling last year. The first week was tough. Or first month last year was tough. This obviously was tough. Lloyd's coming back from the Achilles. And then they had a pretty solid October. And then Lloyd got hurt with the Achilles in early November. And then you're just piecemealing the rest of the O-line together. And that was with the NPF, Duncan, Ojukwu rotating right tackle. And there might be another player that I left out there from last year. But
I was listening to a former NFL lineman talk about this. I think it was last week, and I forget who it was. I wish that I could shout out the show and everything, but he was basically saying he played in the NFL recently. He's not like an old head or anything, but he played in the NFL long enough to kind of know what it used to be like versus what it is now. And his point was that fans have to just accept that if your offensive line is new in any capacity in terms of rotating guys' positions, whether you're bringing in young guys to fill in spots or old guys to fill in spots, if it's a new group of guys that haven't worked together before, in the modern NFL in 2025, it's pretty much impossible to not need the first month to kind of figure it out because of the way that they approach the preseason. Like, you used to get real live reps at a significant enough volume before the first real game of the year for the offensive line to kind of be in a good spot. And they've completely taken that away. No more two-a-days, no more, completely live, like many fewer completely live drills. The starting offensive line playing like 2 series at most per preseason game. You just can't, you can't manufacture it. And so I think that makes sense and is like a good thing to tattoo on our arm to remember for future reference. And I think that you're kind of seeing that with this Titans team. Obviously hurt by the fact that they lost their best tackle, and 3 of their first 4 games were against awesome defensive lines.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Cam Ward. This is not groundbreaking or anything, but Cam Ward, the way that he played in that fourth quarter, if this ridiculous and flawed football team starts to become scrappy and competitive the rest of the year, it's going to be because the quarterback trends in the right direction and starts to have, it's not even full games, right? Like baby steps, starts to have quarters, halves, stretches of 3 or 4 drives where it's like he's hot, and if he's streaky, that's okay. And there are going to be more quarters that are bad, some more quarters that are probably disastrous, some terrible decisions will be made. But if you can start to string together, there were 3 drives last week, there were 3 drives this week where it's like he got hot there in the third quarter or whatever it may be. Those are going to be the things that lead to them competing. So those are my 2 things in general. And again, not groundbreaking, but in terms of taking Arizona and rolling it forward, it is Cam Ward trending in the right direction and starting to figure things out slowly, baby steps. And it is both sides of the trenches, Titans trench play in general, playing up to their capacity and being top half, top 10 in the league.
Okay. Which of those do we think will be accomplished against the Raiders? And that's what I want to think about is the offensive line, D-line success, or Cam Ward's fourth quarter. Because the trench success, I mean, it's kind of tough. Like, can we just simplify it to the O-line first? Because, they did allow a 75-yard touchdown run that was fumbled at the inch-yard line, on the D-line in that game that didn't count, right? That wasn't seen.
Yeah, I mean, so the fact that it was a 72-yard run was on the safety.
On the stat sheet, yes. But
right, but it wasn't on the D. I mean, the D-line failed to get the initial stop, but they're not the ones that failed to be the safety valve.
Well, it was like a 3rd and 1. It was a short yardage situation that just busted all of a sudden. So,
Right, so 2 guys on the D-line got flushed out, which happens. That's when you need your linebackers and safeties.
So, yeah. So it was a full defensive failure. I'm with you on that. But so I think Nick Ewing said he was untouched even on the fumble, right? So Which is more likely to be accomplished versus the Raiders? Strong trench play to continue, or Cam Ward rolling over his very impressive fourth quarter into the next week? So we'll get to that. But first, we'll tell you guys about Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. BartonDrury.com is their website. They can help you out with whatever insurance policy that you have or that you need. And we all need insurance. And insurance is it's a very intimidating thing to go through. The process is long. It's grueling. It's a lot of paperwork that makes your eyes get crossed. It's a lot of big words that we don't need or use on a regular basis. That's why you need the experts to help you out, to put you in a good spot to where the fine print is on your side. And that's what Barton Drury is here to do for you. They've done that with us. They've done that with me individually, with my family. They've done that with our company, A to Z, on many different levels, employee benefits and our workers' comp policy, and whatever we need to build on from there. They can help you out. They're online at bartondrury.com. If you give them a phone call at 615-806-1265, give them a phone call. Say, hey, I heard you on A to Z. They said you could help me try to save some money in my insurance plans. Give them a call. Tell them A to Z sent you, and you'll be entered to win a Titans jersey of your choice for free from A to Z Sports at bartondrury.com.
BTA Sports, dominating the game, better for bettors. Use our link in the description below to sign up for a 14-day free trial. They will help you make better bets with their machine learning analytics models. Check them out, BTA Sports.
All right, so which is more likely to be accomplished? Cam's rolling over of a big fourth quarter, or the offensive line, defensive line success that they showed against the Cardinals? I'll look at the chat real quick. I'm seeing Corey saying Cam. Darren says, it's hard to say. I want to say Cam's play, but it actually might be the trench play. So it's a trench play vote.
He wants it to be Cam.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But
we all
Cam. Yeah. Shyam says Cam rolling over his streak for the rest of the season. I mean, that would be incredible.
Yes.
And Mr. Robinson is saying stop the conservative game calling. I mean, I don't know about that necessarily, but not really conservative. Curtis saying Cam. What do you think, Easton? Like, which is the more sustainable aspect of that Cardinals game?
I think for this week, it's the trench play. Part of that is getting J.C. Latham back, which I've been just salivating over the prospect of for well over a month now. Like I came into the year very excited to see what this offensive line could be. I have been deeply annoyed for over a month now that we've not gotten to see it. And I'm not expecting J.C. Latham to hit the ground and be, incredible immediately. But some folks on primetime the other day, Austin, were asking me like, obviously you want J.C. Latham back eventually, but like, Oli Udoh played pretty good the last two games, which is true. He did. JC like coming back, do you maybe have to take a step backwards to take a step forwards, JC Latham? And I understand where you're coming from, but no, JC Latham is the best tackle on this team. Clearly. Now it's one heck of a welcome back gift to get Max Crosby as your first game back. One of the only elite pass rushers in the league that consistently lines up on the right tackle instead of the left tackle. Fun fact. So that's a bummer for him, but in that same vein, do you want Oli Udoh to be the one responsible for Max Crosby all game? I do not. I want JC Latham to be that guy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big deal. And generally speaking, the offensive line has been very, very good. The interior three put up their best game, pitched a shutout in terms of sacks last week. Very few pressures allowed by those guys. They're road grading in terms of the run game. The run game, very efficient. I want them to be in. I think this run game will be able to carry, might be a strong word, but carry the team kind of in some of these games if they manage to not get down early. Like a big part of the reason why you look back on that game in Arizona, it's like, wow, they only 14 carries for Pollard, but he was running really efficient and half of his carries went for 5 or more yards. It's a great place to be living. Well, when you're down 21-6 the whole game, you have to pass the ball. So if they can stay level or even, dare I say, ahead of a team, that run game led by the trenches will be a big thing. The defensive line, obviously Jeffrey Simmons continues to play out of his mind. We're at the point where obviously, getting T'Vondre Sweat back will be a nice addition because he's kind of the only guy on this roster that I have any confidence in. Will you inject him and maybe he can actually like bring you some more higher ceiling play? because even the guys that, like Arden Key and Draymond Jones and Femi Oladejo, like all the rest of these guys, the ceiling's just not there. And that's part of our reasoning this whole time about why we are not crazy about this defensive line as a whole. I think Jihad Ward is somebody that they're going to probably play some more. Put up a tape cut of him on Twitter earlier this week. He leads the team. If you take Jeffrey Simmons out, he leads the team in pressures, despite only playing like 44% of defensive snaps so far this year. So he's not got a whole lot of reps, but he's making the most of them. They're using him inside and outside versatility quite a bit. So I don't know who you have to knock down a peg to play him more, but I think you should go ahead and do that. Yeah, I just, in this Raiders team, in terms of the defense, it's like Max Crosby and then a bad defense. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, the Raiders only have 8 sacks on the year.
Yes. And their offensive line has also been shaky. It's not been the only reason, but it's been a part of the reason why Geno Smith has looked as bad as he has. So this is a gettable Raiders team in the trenches. And I think the Titans, and I'm not saying Cam's going to stink in this game, but I think Cam's path to consistency is a harder one than the trenches path to consistency.
I think Cam's path to consistency is through the offensive line.
Sure. That's also a part of it.
And 8 sacks for the Raiders defense. Crosby has 2 of them. Geno has been sacked 16 times in 5 games. Cam has been sacked 19 times in 5 games, but that's been a lot better as of late.
Yes.
A lot better as of late. Now, the problem is the Titans defense only has 7 sacks in 5 games, half of which are from Jeff. So,
awesome.
But that's the good thing is I think Jeff can continue to do his thing. Maybe get after Geno a little bit, have him move off and let some of his teammates clean up a little bit. But yeah, I think it's a very gettable game. I agree. I think it's the trenches. I think the offensive line, if the running game can stay relevant long enough, how can you say balanced, use that play action boot more often? Maybe that's how you can get away from Max Crosby is have him be, a little pawn in your play action boot scheme, however you want to do it. If you want to play action towards him or away from him, whatever the hell you think is the smartest thing. I think that's how you can kind of play that. So Edward says, I want JC back, but not against Crosby. That makes no sense. Why would you want your best guy back, but not for the other best guy? So you want your worst guy to play against their best guy. I don't understand. You should want him back.
It's like he's rooting for JC more than he's rooting for the Titans. It's like, I don't want JC to be made to look bad against Max. So I'd rather the Titans just get cooked.
I'd rather the backup look bad and then have JC back after that to look good.
Like, do you want Max Crosby to suddenly have half of the Raiders sacks? Because by the end of this week, we could make that happen with JC Latham out of the rotation.
Right. So, all right. Well,
God chooses his strongest soldiers for his toughest battles. JC Latham, this is yours.
He says he's not 100%. Edward says, or asks.
But he is, though. He is. I mean, that's the idea is that he's
the idea, but is he? And is he rusty? There's all this kind of stuff. He's missed a month, right?
There's definitely going to be rust and maybe even some conditioning things. But in terms of health, the whole idea of keeping him out, because again, as I've said, if there was a playoff game 2 weeks ago, he could have played in it, is my understanding. It's a hip strain where you feel like you're good and you're back and you're fine for a while before you actually get back in there, if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Because you're trying not to aggravate it.
Right. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and get the trivia in this Thursday on a high note. Time for some trivia. Let's do it. Shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon. Online, WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Payne Bone will help you save some money on your new ride right there with Wilson County Hyundai. Okay, Easton, it's time for, I guess you have it ready to go.
I do. Hit it.
All right, let's do it. Time for trivia. Boom. Smooth transition. I think part of the week transition is when I run trivia. I think my computer has a hard time sharing the screen for whatever dumb reason.
Oh.
Okay. All right. I will get the chat ready. I am ready. Orlando says over under still at 4.5. So can we go 9 for 9? And where is Ann?
Yeah, Curtis, this is what I'm sitting here thinking. Ann Herndon's not here, so we're down.
Yesterday she took her work break right around now. So
And if you can hear us, get in here, Ann.
We've stalled long enough for Ann to have a work break to come help us with trivia. That was the whole point.
We mostly need her by the time we get to the 9th and final question, celebrity mashup. So
yes, yeah, and we did the first topic for 40 minutes just to buy time, filibustering for Ann's work break.
That's right. All right,
okay,
you ready?
let's do it.
NFL. Center Mike Pouncey got drafted in round 1 by this AFC team in 2011 and made 3 Pro Bowls during his tenure. The Steelers, right?
It's either Steelers or the Dolphins.
I'm pretty sure it's Steelers. Are we good with Steelers?
I don't know, because which one's Mike? Which one's Maurice?
Oh, wait. Wait. Good point.
We're getting a lot of Steelers.
We're saying Dolphins now.
I know.
Why?
I think Mike is Steelers. I think
it was Maurice. Dang it. Along with Kate Del Castillo, this Academy Award-winning actor met drug lord El Chapo for a secret interview following his second prison escape in 2015. What? Dog, I don't know. No clue. Academy Award-winning actor. I'm assuming actor means it's his male, so that narrows it down. Sean Penn? That sounds right.
I'm still torn up on that Pouncey question.
Nice. Good pull on Sean Penn.
What did you answer with?
Steelers.
Okay.
In 2023, Paramount Plus debuted a spinoff of this NCIS franchise set in what country? Well, I mean, is it Tony and Ziva? And that's set in Israel. I used to be an OG NCIS, big time NCIS fan, and I know the spinoff show is Tony and Ziva. But where's it set? I know that Ziva she was like Israeli intelligence, so she did a lot of stuff in. Is it Australia? All right, I was wrong about that.
Maybe.
People were saying Australia.
Yep,
okay, never mind. Maybe I'm thinking of maybe there's more than one spinoff. Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, and Steve Guttenberg played New York City bachelors who are surprised by an unbeknownst child of theirs at their door in this 1987 comedy. Love Tom Selleck, though. Chat. Three Men and a Baby. Is that really what it's called?
Yeah.
Aptly named show. The singer has hits in the 2000s with Beautiful Soul, Leavin', and How Dare You Sleep. That is Jesse McCartney, right?
Oh. Yeah, that's what Matt says.
Yeah, Jesse McCartney. Founded in 2014 and 2015, this brand of water bottles calls itself Perfectly Balanced Water on its label and comes in a cylindrical shaped bottle with symmetrical contours. So it's a water bottle?
Smart water.
That doesn't narrow it down at all.
Smart water, right?
Was it that recent? 2014?
Yeah.
No.
Damn it. What?
The 3 longest.
That describes smart water, though.
Yeah, but they just described every water bottle.
Yeah. No, never mind.
It's core. Yeah. The 3 longest active NLCS appearance droughts belong to the Pirates, Reds, and this NL East team.
Nobody cares.
I mean, am I dumb? Is this the Marlins?
Nobody cares about baseball.
Well, somebody has to care. Is this the Marlins, chat? I'm afraid I'm even wrong about them being
NL East. NL East.
Aren't the Marlins in the NL East?
Marlins.
Yeah.
Marlins
okay.
is Marlins.
I'm afraid to open my mouth on any baseball question because I feel dumb, but I think I know that one. Okay. While Mark Ingram won the 2019 Heisman, this Pac-10 running back won the 2009 Doak Walker Award for Best Running Back.
Pac-10 running back 2009. Oh, God.
Hmm.
Running back 09.
While Mark Ingram won the 2009 Heisman, this Pac-10 running back won the 2009 Doak Walker Award for Best Running Back. McCaffrey?
No, McCaffrey was Derek's year, guys. Toby Gerhardt's a good answer from Stanford. I was also thinking Marshawn Lynch could be it from Bustin' Diamond because I think he was like the 09, but Toby Gerhardt is a good answer.
All right, let's try Toby.
Jones Drew is older.
It was Toby.
Than that. Yeah.
Celeb mashup. I need Ann. I don't know either of these people. Hang on. Is the dude Evan Peters? I think that's Evan Peters.
Sure.
I'm going to say Evan Peters unless somebody corrects me. No clue who this woman is. Yeah, people are saying it's Evan. Wait, is she the receptionist from The Office? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Pam?
No.
The other one.
The other one. The younger,
Aaron?
Yeah.
No, that's
Okay.
not Ellie Kemper.
That's my only guess. People are saying Ellie Kemper or Keller.
Ellie,
You sure it's not her?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I think it might be.
Actually, yeah, you might be right.
Let's try it. We got it. Bang!
Okay, so we know it's the Dolphins, right?
I guess. If it's not, then I'm really stumped. Yeah, okay. What was the... Oh, only 8% got the beverage, and it was core hydration. Yeah.
Stupid.
Darn. Well, 522 with a double miss. Not great, but it's the first celebrity mashup that I got by myself, maybe in my entire life. So that's... I'm taking a moral victory on that.
I feel like this is very sarcastic because I was
Yeah, I was about to say what.
not involved at all.
No.
Ugh.
I'll probably never again in my life by myself get the celebrity mashup and the baseball question. The fact that happened was like a plus 20,000 parlay. So I hope you placed it today. Hope you sprinkled on that happening because it's not happening again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's our show.
Yeah, I'm
You're really
annoyed by that trade. I'm annoyed by the Pouncey situation.
Well, we should have known. We should have known, Mike and Maurice. That's on us.
All right, guys. Like the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow on a Friday. Buck Lights tonight for prime time. See you.